first dream project I wanted to discuss is Kingdom Hearts 4. Highly anticipated. We already know we're getting this. We've got a reveal trailer out for it. I've approached it a few times, and yeah, it's going to be fantastic whenever it drops. So yeah, really that's the kind of the first one I wanted to go into. Is like, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 4, can't wait for this to drop. It is a dream project. It'll be fantastic whenever it's released. Action RPG, really good stuff. I've been over this many times, so we'll move on. Next one is a Kingdom Hearts game based on Axel, or where Axel's kind of the main character, or the central protagonist, the central character you're playing as. Axel's really fun. He's got a great personality. He has his fiery chakrams, and that becomes his own Keyblade as well. So I would like to see that Kingdom Hearts game based on Axel. I don't know what they would title it. Kingdom Hearts Lee. That could kind of work, maybe. Yeah. I just think he's a lot of people's favorite organization member, or one of their favorites. I would love to see an Axel game dropped in the future. Next one is Persona 6, or the next mainline Persona game. Again, been over this before. I think it would be really fantastic if we saw something like this. Yeah, I've kind of been over it in my Persona video, so don't really need to go into things too much here. Just to say that it would be fantastic to see whenever this does drop. New color scheme, some changes, some implementations, a new story would be pretty cool to see. Next one, kind of an obvious one for a lot of people, is Bloodborne 2. Bloodborne 1 was incredible. It'd be great to see them do a Bloodborne more tribal looking, maybe a desert setting, or even just new trick weapons, new crazy bosses. It'd be fantastic. And a new magic system, kind of like the arcane one which we got before, would be really cool to see as well. Next one is Hyrule Souls. This looks really cool. It's a fan art concept, but I do feel that this would be a really cool idea. Essentially, for a dream project, it would be From Software handling a new Zelda title, giving their take, giving the soul spin on Zelda. You know, Elden Ring has been compared to Zelda, Dark Souls as well. It'd be really cool. We've had Twilight Princess in the past, which was kind of the darker feel of Zelda. And it'd be fantastic to see Miyazaki and his team's work on a Zelda title for a Nintendo system. It is a dream game. We'd have to see if this actually would ever see the light of day. Hyrule Souls, it would be fantastic to see this. Next one, Elden Ring 2. Elden Ring and its DLC are some of the most lovingly created, bang for buck games. You know, both of them as a pairing are beautiful, incredible. A weird and mysterious and fantastic world, full of adventure, full of items, full of things to explore, bosses to defeat, NPCs to speak with. and a completely incredible, interesting, absorbing narrative, as well as having a very different and interesting and weird mythology with the Great Runes and the Elden Ring and everything. We just want more of this world, I think. Even with the way things have been left, you know, George R. R. Martin's stuff he's put in this was really great, you know, his work, and Miyazaki and his entire team, and the art direction, and everything that was put into this. So a sequel would be, it's a similar talk now to like a Bloodborne 2, you know, Elden Ring 2. Shadow of the Earth Tree is basically an Elden Ring 2, but you know, so many people fell in love with the Lands Between, so it would be incredible to see in a few years for us to return as the Tarnished in the Lands Between once more. Next one up is Legends Kyurem, Pokemon Legends Kyurem. Again, I've been over this on the channel before. We're getting a Legends ZA game which is based on Zygarde and the new Legendary, which will be to be announced, the A Legendary. I had predictions that this was going to be the next title, that it was going to be based on the Unova region as kind of like a remake type thing. They would do for Black and White and Black and White 2. Still possible in the future is a Legends game based on Kyurem, the original dragon, seeing the origins of all three of them, Zekrom, Reshiram and Kyurem, as that original dragon form, which we haven't seen yet in the past when they were all one entity. And yeah, would be cool to see Unova in the past or the future, depending on how they want to do it. I think it would make more sense for it to be set in the past, because then we get to see the original dragon. It's kind of like that mascot. Well, Kyurem would be the mascot, being the shell, but then you would have origin forms for Kyurem, Zekrom, Reshiram, and a completely new Pokemon as the entirely fused form of all three. You could also see, you know, origin forms for like Victini, the Victory Pokemon, Genesect as well, because Genesect is this cybernetically enhanced cyborg type bug Pokemon with the drives that you can put into it. These disc things. So it'd be great to see Genesect as its original form, a more natural form to the Pokemon. And you know, seeing other origin forms and kind of Unovan forms of like the starters, and I know we already have Hisuian Samurott, but you could have a different form for him and different Pokemon as well. So I like this idea. Legends Kyurem. And following on from that, Pokemon Legends Tapu, I think would be a really cool idea. So if you don't know, the Tapus are kind of like the guardians of the Alola region, which is in the Sun and Moon games and the Ultra Sun and Moon games, the Alola region. So seeing like a Pokemon Legends game based around the Alola, which is kind of like the tropical summer holiday, kind of like Hawaii region of Pokemon. And to see like a Legends game based out there would be cool, because you had a completely different take on the gym leader structure and the Pokemon League system with the island trials and the kahunas. So seeing some history to that, what happened in the past, and obviously seeing the different Alolian forms for like the past forms for, like, you know, Incineroar, Marina and Decidueye, even though we did get a Hisuian Decidueye in Legends Arceus. I just think it'd be really cool. I think it's Tapu Bulu, Tapu Fini, Tapu Lele, and Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko is the one I know most, and I think a lot of people know the most. So it'd be cool. And even bringing in new Tapus, maybe Tapus who went extinct, or Tapus that had to leave for some reason, or just aren't around anymore. You know, you could add new Tapus to the game. And I also think that you could explore the stuff with like the wormholes opening up with the Ultra Beast. You could have new Ultra Beasts come in, ones which were first seen in the past but not in the future. And I think it's a cool idea. Like the you know, some of the Tapus could have been lost in the wormholes as well, the Ultra wormholes. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. Next we have Devil May Cry 6. Highly anticipated. After we've got, you know, Devil May Cry 5, and we saw all the cool stuff there with like Nero's hands getting changed out, Nero's different arms, all the mechanical upgrades, and everything else that we saw in 6. If you saw 6, you know what I mean. For like Dante's devil arm bike, and you know, all the stuff in the story with Virgil and V, and everything related to that as well as that the Devil May Cry van, the truck. So it's like a mobile company or devil hunting business now, demon hunting business, rather than just being in one location, which always gets destroyed, or it's just like a static location. They're now on the move. So I do like that. What they could bring to the table, Capcom, you know, it could focus on another sort of conflict between Nero and Dante. Virgil always seems to show up, but more than likely it's going to involve the demon world and the struggle therein. Sparta as well. Potentially having, I've said this before, a Sparta game where you played as Dante's father, Sparta, during that war in the background that we hear about in the prologues for these games, where Sparta wielded the sword of his own name and went about this war against the demons to help humanity, and then the birth of Virgil and Dante, the twin brothers. And yeah, I just think that would be a cool idea. The legendary Dark Knight Sparta, seeing the origin, seeing the father, this legendary warrior wielding the sword of his own name, and all the events therein, tying it back into the start of the series. I think that would also be another cool idea for Devil May Cry 6. Is if it is just based on Sparta, you know, that is my dream project, especially if it's handled correctly. So, next project we have is Bayonetta 4, similar to Devil May Cry 6. Bayonetta 1, 2, and 3 were great. It'd be cool to see even more of that. We all love Bayonetta. All the different weapons you can attach to her hands and her feet. It's just, they get more and more creative with every installment in terms of those big bosses, in terms of those cool weapons that you can use with her. The witch time stuff where you can slow down time and dodge and sort of freeze time, that's really cool. And the incredible weaving attacks that you can create using the wicked weaves of her hair, and then making like a giant ally to kind of punch something, or creating a massive demon, or lots of different things, summons, and it's all very cool. And they really upped the ante on Bayonetta 1 and 2 with the whole Bayonettas from different dimensions and different parallel universes, so I thought that was kind of cool. So they always kind of expand, they always go a little bit more, they go big each time, they go more out there. So I'd like to see more. And with the fact that how Bayonetta 3 ended with this new character Viola, perhaps she's kind of like going to be more like a Nero, so we can actually play as her next time like we did in 3, and she takes up her own sort of portion of the story, and then we also get to play as Bayonetta as she comes back somehow. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, looking forward to whenever Platinum drops that next Bayonetta game. Alright, a little bit different. Super Mario Odyssey 2. I think a lot of people are hyped for this, whatever form that this is going to take. We've had Mario 64, we've had Sunshine, we've had Galaxy, we've had Odyssey. People love the 3D Mario. So because we haven't had a 3D Mario in a while, other than Odyssey, this would be really good. I think Nintendo must be working on something like this, or a similar title. As you can see in this kind of mock-up image someone's made, it includes a lot of different aspects of the series. I think it's like a Mario, Luigi, Mario at the top, and at the bottom there's like a Paper Mario. It would be cool in Odyssey if we're somehow, it's kind of like a throwback to all these different elements. We'll have to see what they do, because it might not be Odyssey 2 that Nintendo are working on right now. It could be Super Mario Gravity, if they decide to go back to space again. The Galaxy games were really cool, really fun, like Odyssey is, and it would be cool to return to space again. You know, space is so expansive, so cool and incredible, and there's just a lot you can do with space. So I think both ideas are fine, like, you know, Odyssey and Gravity. The next we have here is Marvel vs. Capcom X, or Marvel vs. Capcom 5, technically. It'd be the 5th installment in the series, but if you want to call this Marvel vs. Capcom X, Marvel vs. Capcom 5, what have you, essentially it's just the next installment in the Marvel vs. Capcom series. So I kind of went over this a little bit in the Jump video that I made, which is kind of the crossover fighting game, and also with like Smash Brothers. It's got to the point now with the Marvel vs. Capcom series where a lot of people are aware of a lot more of the back catalogue of Marvel comics and Marvel properties through television series, movies, MCU, stuff like this. And Capcom have released a lot more games in the series, you know, like Resident Evil and Devil May Cry and Mega Man and all these different things, Monster Hunter. They could pick characters easily from this roster of different characters from over the years and make like an really fantastic roster for people. Include characters that they have included in the past and ones which they haven't. There's still characters for them to pull from and use, as well as include all the characters from the past. They could do a very similar thing to Super Smash Bros. And include all the characters that have ever been introduced in the series in one game. They could also include a bunch of other fan favorites people have been honestly waiting for years. And they could also kind of changed the system back to a system people enjoy from this kind of versus series. Is like, I think a lot of people like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for like it's 3 characters. Same with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's again 3 characters. I don't think a lot of people liked going back to kind of just 2 characters for Infinite and the Infinity Stones and how things were handled. There were some cool ideas that they introduced, but I just feel like they need to really make this next one, you know, a legendary Marvel vs. Capcom game where people are like, this is better than Smash Bros. This is one of the ultimate crossover fighting games out there. And I feel the same way about like Jump, whatever the next Jump crossover fighting game is. Okay, so there's that. Next one is Cyberpunk 2099, or Cyberpunk, whatever you wanted that titling to be. Cyberpunk 3077, or 2177, or 2099. However many years they want to go into the future. From the original 2020 game, it was 77 years in the future that they made the jump for. So that's a lot of technological advancement. You know, for 2099, that's only 22 years, so that's less advancement. They could go dial it up however much they wanted. I think 1,000 years is quite a long time. That would be a ton of technological advancement, and it's possible that, you know, Night City isn't there anymore, or the world is destroyed, or something like that, because of just the cybernetic, all this science and technology, you know, a nuclear threat or something like that. But either way, I think a Cyberpunk 2099 would be a really cool idea. As it stands, the original game is fantastic. There's obviously DLC out, you may have tried that. I thought CD Projekt Red really brought it with the different missions, the different quests, the music, voice acting, the graphical fidelity on the game, and the aesthetics was wonderful. And it really did bring that tabletop RPG to life in a interactive video game. So, love to see that team do something similar again. And they could just leave it at 2077, but I don't know if they're going to do that. I think having a continuation of this world, people like this world. You obviously have the Edge Runners anime, which was really popular. If they announce this type of game again, I don't know if it'd be quite as long in development as the previous one. They could potentially use the same engine they did last time, like an upgraded version of that engine. Obviously there were a lot of bugs and issues, unfortunately, when that came out, but yeah, I feel like this is something that would be great. Just more interesting story from Night City. All the cyber upgrades and fun cybernetics which come with that world, as well as all the philosophy of living in a world with science and technology. Alright, next one we have is the Game of Thrones role-playing game, or A Song of Ice and Fire, the role-playing game. This image, the stock image, is from one of the games which was released. Not everyone got on with it. It wasn't the best RPG ever. There were some really cool elements to it, but it wasn't quite what we were looking for, I don't think. You look at games like The Witcher 3, you look at games like Elden Ring, you look at games like Dark Souls, Baldur's Gate 3, people love that. I think, you know, the Elder Scrolls as well. We need that Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones world, but with a decent video game. Well, actually, beyond that, a great video game. They've obviously done the Hogwarts Legacy game for like Harry Potter, and that's, you know, had its success to it. I think this idea, a lot of people will jump on board. The idea of maybe creating your own character, creating your own house would be cool, and exploring this world of Westeros, being able to go, you know, all the way from like Dawn all the way up to like the Wall and beyond the Wall would be awesome, as well as being able to go to the east, go to Essos and go to Pentos and all the Slavers Bay area and Karth and all that other stuff. Even if you could go all the way east to like Ashai by the Shadow, would be awesome. It is possible that they could do this. And then obviously having like dialogue systems and good voice acting and music, and having like an interesting combat system as well would be cool. You know, similar to like some of the games I've just mentioned, as well as like the look of the game. I think it's possible. It's something that we haven't seen for quite a few years. It's a role-playing game based on this universe, so I think, yeah, it's worth making. Next one is Silent Hills. So we obviously had the playable teaser, or the PT playable teaser, playable demo for this, which came out, which was just a very simple idea for a demo where you go into a house, a very photorealistic house, and you go along a corridor, you go along another corridor, back out, and then it repeats the sequence. You could like go into another door and there's like a bathroom and weird stuff is happening. You kind of look up in the lobby to like the rafters and like weird supernatural activities happening. When you look at all the photos and look at all the different stuff in the house, you know, things are different. And as you walk through the house again and again, each sequence something is different. Whatever idea that they were trying to do, I think was a really awesome one. And you could see that kind of in elements with like Resident Evil 7 and 8 Village. So that's another dream game, by the way, as well. It's like whatever the next Resident Evil is, if it's up there with like the Resident Evil Village and the Resident Evil 7 and the Village. So yeah, Silent Hills, it seemed to become like elements of that were kind of brought to Death Stranding, and then this new Death Stranding 2 with like the weird crazy guitar guy and everything that's going down in that Death Stranding stuff. It's possible they can return to Silent Hill. Obviously they're working on the Silent Hill 2 remake at the moment, so who knows if that sells well. Perhaps this will be the next thing. They may go back to this cancelled project or take elements from this cancelled project into the next one. I liked the first person perspective. I thought that was good, and the photorealism was good as well. So yeah, it seemed like a spooky game, weird idea, and it's worth looking back into this cancelled project again. We're taking elements from this into a new one, like kind of like what they did with Resident Evil Village. Next one we've got here is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 3. Yeah, so I've dabbled a bit with Knights of the Old Republic over the years. Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, experiencing that in some capacity, either by viewing it, reading about it, viewing it, playing a bit myself. It's something that we didn't get. I think LucasArts has done now, but like, we got Mass Effect 3. Well, we got Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and we got Mass Effect Andromeda, and Mass Effect became the thing. You know, Mass Effect has done really well. Dragon Age similarly as well. But a Knights of the Old Republic game using those similar systems of like the Dragon Age and the Mass Effect, and kind of learning a bit from what worked, what didn't, and really making this a fantastic title. It's a good idea. I liked the idea of, you know, light and dark side influencing your decisions, how you could become a Jedi or you could become a Sith depending on how you played the game, and you know, being able to explore these different worlds in the galaxy. You had some great characters like the assassin robots, and you know, really interesting and layered characters like Kreia, and other aspects of the story like Revan, and in the other games like Nihilus and Scion, and I'm trying to remember the... I can't remember the... is it Darth? I forget the name of the other Sith guy. Anyway. They could take elements from the newer Star Wars stuff, which people aren't too... Some people like, some people don't. With like the newer films and the First Order and all this kind of stuff. They could go down that route if they wanted to, or they could... You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be the Old Republic, it can be the new stuff. You know, with all these new series like Mandalorian and Acolyte and... Andor, was it? Yeah. So they could take it in different directions, you know. But like Mass Effect, the cool thing about it is exploring this amazing universe and galaxy, obviously with modern graphics, modern takes on how to do interesting quest lines and dialogue, and making it a big game, having those fan favorite planets to explore, and just interesting stuff going on in the galaxy. They had the Old Republic MMO RPG, they could bring elements from that as well in this. Yeah, side note, it would be also cool to see like different lightsaber forms, like the clamp saber, which you saw in the Rise of the Skywalker thing with Rey's dark side vision, where she kind of clamps the saber, and also the Kylo Ren hilt, the cross saber thing. If you could get those lightsabers in this, that would be cool as well. You could potentially change the combat system to like more of a Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight 2, or like a Jedi Academy style thing where it's more, you know, action based, and kind of it's you doing the lightsaber fighting as opposed to the computer just kind of auto attacking, having this more kind of engaging lightsaber combat, like with those Jedi Knight games and Jedi Academy. But yeah, there's still a lot they could do. I think this is something people have wanted for years, is the Knights of the Old Republic 3. So something that comes up from time to time, but I think this is one that needs to happen at some point. And finally, to end my list of dream video game projects, one of my #1 dream projects is the continuation or the finishing of the Legacy of Kain storyline. At the end of Defiance, Kain looked out on the crumbling pillars, witnessing the end of Nosgoth, and the Hilden Lord had escaped with Janos Audrin's body possessed. Raziel had made the ultimate sacrifice by giving Kain what he needed. The sight to see the Elder God, and Raziel, he said, I was always by your side, your right hand, your sword, and he then becomes one with the Soul Reaver and fully gives up his self to the sword and becomes the Soul Reaver that he always was supposed to be. The devouring spirit in the Soul Reaver sword. And this story was supposed to continue after Kain gives those words at the end of Defiance, the end of the Legacy of Kain series, where he says that bitter taste of hope. And they were supposed to carry this on in a cancelled project called Legacy of Kain Dark Prophecy, in which he was supposed to go around destroying the tentacles of the Elder God and his influence, and then have a final showdown with the Elder God at some stage in this kind of fractured, ruined timeline. And other elements could be there too. I don't know if if the time portals are even still functioning, because Mobius is gone, and other things like this, or other characters he would meet from the past. Going into different Hilden dimensions to defeat the Hilden, and eventually have a final confrontation with the Elder God and the Hilden Lord to finally finish the job. And to see the ends of the prophecy, everything that was talked about in Legacy of Kain Blood Omen, Soul Reaver 1 and 2, and Defiance. So Legacy of Kain Dark Prophecy, that's one of the big ones. It would be so cool to see the climactic conclusion to the series, but we'll have to see. I don't know who owns the rights to this. Can we please get this game? Either way, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.